about the day, when I think about your ways, I love you. I love you. When I think about the day, when I think about your ways, I love you. I love you. When I think about the day on Calvary, when I think about the blood you shed for me, I just lift my hands and give you all the praise. That's why I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. That's why I love you. I love you, yeah. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. When I think about the day on Calvary, when I think about the blood you shed for me, I just lift my hands and give you all the praise. That's why I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. That's why I love you. I love you, yeah. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. That's why I love you. I love you. La 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 Jesus, hey. La 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 Jesus, hey. La 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 Jesus, hey. La 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 Jesus, la 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 Jesus. I think about how you set me free. Yes, that special day on Calvary. That's why I love you. Yes, Lord, I love you. Yes, you are my rock. You are my shield of faith. Yeah. La da da Jesus. Yeah. La da da Jesus. I love you. I love
Hey, I really love you. I really love you. Hello out there. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with Sheila. I don't know where my co-host is. She's somewhere around. We got Mother Sandra on, my sister, my friend, my spiritual mom. Look, she's everything. ///. Hallelujah. Listen, let's put a comment up. She says, probably your oldest bravette online. She came in with jokes. She came in with jokes. Listen, welcome everybody. For those of you who are here for the first time, as you come in, smash that like button. Go ahead, smash that like button. I need you to push that algorithm for me. I'm excited tonight about this conversation, this chat. This is going to be a dope show. That's all I can say to you. I am so excited about my guest. I have a lifetime friend on here tonight. It's a blend. We got folks coming in late, but I guess they'll be here when they get here. And this show, this broadcast is designed to help move you from pain to power and from power to victory. That's right. We stretch you and push you and pull on you so that you can walk into the things of your purpose and that you can move into that place called there, wherever there might be for you. Tonight, we are talking about something that's dear to my heart. I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you said what? Love. I love to love. And tonight is going to be a deep conversation with different aspects and different experiences that women have had There's so much conversation going on in the YouTube streets about love. There's so much being said about love. There's so much going on about love, and we have so much to talk about. Sir Hale Speaks. I call him my little brother, but sometimes he feels like he's my big brother. Anyway, he's my brother. Salute to you, as you say. Much love to you, Sir Hale. Thank you for popping over. I know that you live too. What you doing over here? Good evening. Good to see you too. I'm excited about tonight because this conversation, and ever has it been known that love knows not its own death. What? Until the hour of separation. This is so powerful. So powerful. I have a guest here. I had supposed to have a whole lot of guests. I don't know where the panel is, but you know what they say in show business. What? The show must go on. And so we must go on with this topic tonight, this show tonight, because we have so many ideas about Lady Hill's in the house. Lady Hill, I love you, my sister. Hello. Hello to you. And so there's so much conversation about love and what happened to love and what is love. It seems like love is muddy all over the place. People have their own concept, their own idea. They can't explain what it is. They fall in love, and next week they fall out of love. Is that really love? What is love? What binds us to a person? What binds us to stick it out and stay with people? Well, women have different stories, different experiences, and different thoughts about what love really is. So I want to get into this. I want to share something. I hope you indulge me while I read something that I found that was so interesting. But before I do that, let me bring up a dear friend of mine. I'm supposed to have 6 other women up here. Don't know where they are, but guess what? It's going to go on. Hello, Jeanette Moore. How are you?
Hello, my sister.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know that. I thought about you. I thought about your love story. I said, she's going to really kill me because she doesn't like to speak or be in public speaking. But guess what? I'm the one that stretch you. I stretch women and men. Listen, I'm the stretcher, right? And so you know what I tell you, whatever you've gone through in life and the experiences that you have, guess what? I already told you they do not belong to you. So Absolutely. You got that. That's a mental thing. You know how we have to psych ourselves out.
Yes,
you know, when we were little, you psych yourself to do something that's uncomfortable to do. So I welcome you so much and thank you so very much for accepting the invitation. We got Sandra Birthright on here, and she says, "My baby girl." Oh my goodness. You remember Sandra Birthright, don't
you? Yes, I do.
I know you do.
Absolutely.
So listen, I want to talk about this topic. I want to get into it, but I want to read something. It's a little lengthy, but I think it's important that I kind of open up with this to understand the different dynamics and whatever has it been that love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation. Now we know that there are 4 types of love spiritually. There are 4 types of love, right? And you see, I opened up with that song that I recorded some years ago. I love you,
absolutely.
Right? I was grooving to it. Hadn't heard it in a long time, but I thought it was appropriate for me to play it tonight. And so that's why I played it. And so the 4 unique forms of love are found in scripture. The scriptural context is 4 Greek words: eros, storge, phileo, and agape. And I always try to allude to this and talk about this because people sometimes do not understand the different characteristics of love. Listen, we got the official Bravette in the house. Ine, thank you so much for being here. She hangs out with me early in the morning on my ministry channel where I'm speaking about the prophetic talks and the prophetic in the word of God. And she's there with me every single morning. And I just appreciate her so much. And so listen, the 4 unique forms of love are found in scripture, but they're Greek words. Like I said, the eros, the storge, right? And the phileo and the agape. And so we understand that the phileo love, and I'll break it down deeper later, is the brotherly love. It comes from the word Philadelphia. The brotherly love. And the storge is basically family, that type of love. I'll break that down a little later too. And we know that the eros is that, ooh, that love making love.
Yes.
That one, right? And the agape love, the love of God, the love that we're all pressing to understand and learn, that unconditional
Conditional
love.
love.
The
That's
other
right.
loves are very conditional, right?
Yes.
And we'll get into that. But I want to talk about this for a second. Thank you, Lady Hell. You are too much. Thank you so much. And I wanted to talk about this topic because I love to love, right? And sometimes we get muddy waters inside and don't know how to keep up with the pure love. You know, what
Mhm.
is love? And I think during times that have come up to where we are now, we have watered down that powerful word love. We throw it around as if it's something weak, right? And it's not. It's very powerful. Let me just indulge me for a second. This lady wrote this, and someone is saying, Jeanette, I excel. He's saying Jeanette. He's saying hello to you. He's saying holla. Oh my
Yes.
God, I got some wonderful bravets and brave brothers in the house tonight. And so, Jeanette, on this platform, we go back and forth to the comments, to the chat. We share because it's just that, a chat. It's not deep. It's like real loose, and we just share and just get into whatever we want to say or think. Let me read this because this will give us sort of a platform, to a foundation, I should say, to spring off what I want to really get into. And so I found this woman who wrote this, and I thought it was very, very, very interesting. Let me, Inaya's greeting you. She's saying, hey, and Jeanette, so happy you're
Hey.
here. See, I told you won't be nervous. See, people are cool over here in the YouTube streets. YouTube streets are kind. It says, a friend of mine asked me some weeks back that how did I manage to have a happy and successful long distance relationship with my spouse for over a period of 2 years? How did I survive the separation? And I had no answer then because I didn't have to work much on it. That says a lot. However, the question got me thinking, and I realized that having a happy, loving, long distance relationship and having a happy, loving, close proximity relationship isn't really that different. Both require their own set of adjustments, that word adjustments, but in all, nothing changes. The needs are still the same: to love and be loved, to connect, to cherish, be friends, and be there for each other. Most people only see one type of separation, but sometimes the absence of love is not what causes separation. People are often separated from their love either by circumstance or by need. Men
Mhm.
are called to military service, for example, and their lovers yearn for their safe return and become increasingly miserable the longer the separation continues. Death often separates lovers, leaving the one behind in abject grief and despair. So painful, the loss that they can barely go on. It is true that to be separated from your love is painful, and that not and permanent separation is nearly unbearable. But love does not prevent the separation, and lack of love is not the cause of separation. Let me
Mhm.
say that again.
Mhm.
Let me say
Mhm.
that again. All right. Love is painful, and that permanent separation is nearly unbearable. But love does not prevent the separation, and lack of love is not the cause of separation. It is the distance that makes life a little hard. But then again, distance between two hearts is not an obstacle, rather, a great reminder of just how strong true love can be. Let me go on.
Mm.
This is good. Good stuff. This is good. Let me find out where I am. For those who say that separation is easy, they don't really know what it is to love someone. It's a bold statement, but trust me, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Through the thousands of miles of separation, you realize that you are missing something. Life goes on without them by your side. The mornings will greet you, and the nights might bid you sleep. And yet, the sweetness of the morning breeze and the sparkle of the night air is not the same. There
Mm.
will be a feeling of something missing, something empty. You just wish like having the most hectic days of your life. The missing and the emptiness really gravitates your heart because it gives you a chance to fill a void that is always present within you. But as the day slows down, the memory of your love catches up, and the longing of this aching heart begins to creep up within. And the hope that someday both will be together again is the only thing that keeps you going. That is so true. If
That's
you ever
right.
have been infatuated, you would have realized that infatuation is weakened by time and separation, where
That's
real love is strengthened by time. This does not mean that there will be no pain in separation.
mm,
On the contrary, there is great pain in separation if you are truly in love. As I know, the greater your capacity to love, the greater your capacity to feel pain. I will read the second part of that in a little while. That is so, so
true,
true.
true, truth, truth. And you know, the it was so true when you said that, you know, the separation doesn't depart your love, actually, because when my true love, uh, when he passed away and died, it was, you know, everybody thought I was going to fall apart, this, that, and the other. But the love that we had shared throughout the time that we had been together was something that gave me something to hold on to cherish,
Mm-hmm.
to that would never die. So it might have been his soul, his spirit, and his body that was dying, but that love always stayed there. It never died.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, that's pretty deep because I do know that you had a very strong, strong, strong
Absolutely.
love. You had a very, very long,
Absolutely.
strong love. Do you see any of us? It says we are backstage. I do not see you. Hold on one moment, Jeanette. They are
Okay.
saying they are backstage and I do not see them. Don't see you. Sign back in. I don't know why I don't see them. Hold on. Forgive me, guys. They're saying they're there, but I don't see them. But anyway,
Hmm.
I apologize. So yes, I understand, and that was one of the reasons because I know that each person that is supposed to be on the platform tonight, they have a different experience and a different story in terms of what has been going on with them in this area. And so for
Hmm.
you, you know, like myself, I became a widow, right? And then you became a widow, right?
Absolutely.
And in the chat, and you became a widow long after I was a widow. But yet, even
Right.
that distance and that time that I lost my first love, my husband, the father of my children, so
Right.
abruptly, it was later that you experienced that emotion, uh, that feeling of love. And it says
Yes.
that you really don't feel the brunt of it until that person is gone, whether
Yes.
it's through separation, whether the person's still living and you break up. It's a divorce. It's a
Hmm.
divorce in your spirit. It's
Yes.
a ripping away. And so for you, it became very, very difficult because you guys were bonded,
Yes.
so bonded.
Yes. We had bonded so good, and for so many years, you know, till when that separation came, it was a shock. You know, of course it was a shock because you never, you know, even think on that level of someone leaving you, you
Right.
know. But when when the separation came, I was so surprised that it didn't it didn't affect me the way that I had anticipated would, because of the separation and because we had been together for so long
Right.
and we're so used to being in the same space all the time.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
Yes,
you saw him, you saw you, and
absolutely.
and it was really, really, a deep moment when you lost
Absolutely.
him. But yet, even during the marriage, there must have been times when roads were rough, where you had
Mhm.
opportunity to turn away. We had opportunities to give up. I'm sure there were moments when those things happened. And so,
Absolutely.
how did that work out? Because a lot of times, people, when you hit hard grounds, they can't hang. They decide, this is not working. I made a mistake. Let me leave.
Absolutely. But the thing is, when those hard times came and things transpired, I thought about what we shared together for the years that we had shared together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And I knew the different relationships, the past relationships I had been in. And even though I have felt like you said, a love that we thought that would never break up or anything could come in between that love. This
right.
was a type of love that, regardless of ups, downs, in betweens, smiles, cries, and all, it was
Yes,
something there in my heart and in my spirit that would never be broken.
yes,
It,
yes,
it could never be broken by anything and anybody, regardless of what happened,
yes,
through the illnesses of what he went through physically and the mental capacity that I went through just trying to deal with the illnesses and other things that went
yes.
on in our lives. That love never failed.
Love never fails, and that's what the word of God says, that love never fails. I
Absolutely.
see some of my wonderful sisters that are here. I'm going to add them to the stream. I have no idea what happened to you guys, but God bless you. Elaine Edwards, I'm so glad you're here. And Charlotte, here you are, Charlotte. I have no idea. The link didn't work for you, I gather. So I sent a new link and she sent it to you. So I'm glad you are here. We have a couple of more people waiting. And so this is Jeanette, Charlotte, Elaine. None of you know each other, but
Hi,
you
No.
but you
ladies.
all have experiences with this topic. And that's why you were invited on the platform with my co-host, who's still not here. I
She's
guess
coming.
she's coming. Amen. Amen. And so, yeah, we're having a conversation about love. I don't know if you guys were listening. Were you listening?
We couldn't hear. I couldn't hear anything.
You couldn't hear anything. Well, the Bravettes and everyone is saying hello to you on this platform. We are very kind. Okay, or just for the ladies? No, this is not just for the ladies. Elaine Edwards and they are saying hello, hello. And yes,
Hello.
this panel is open. Yes, it is open. It is an open panel. And I would love for you to come up. And as long as I can get everybody up here to get your perspective. No, it's not just for ladies, Sir Hale. You are always invited to talk. You are always invited to share. And so I believe that you have a strong, strong understanding. You have an incredible marriage. Your wife is on right now. And so we're really talking about, I don't know if you guys can see the stream, but you did find out that this is love knows not its own death,
That's
right?
right.
Love knows not its own death, right? And so this is a powerful, powerful, from a prophet, a prophetic word. And it says, and ever has it been known that love knows not its own depth until, it says, until the hour of separation. Until the hour of separation.
Mhm.
Separation, how, Sheila? By any means necessary, by whatever is separating you, right? And so we opened up talking about the four types of love. And I don't know if you ladies, the love word, it's a word that some of us use a lot. I love the color on you. I love pizza. I love this. Oh, I see some more people down here. Let me bring them up. Where are they? Let me see. I can't get them up. Hold on. Let's pull them up. There they are. There's the co-host.
Hi.
Turn your phone down. I hear feedback. Turn your phone down. And we have another one. And and I can't wait for Sir Hale to come up because I love having him on the platform. I love hearing his ideas. I love him giving input. And so, love, it's a word that some of us use a lot. I love the color on you. I just love pizza. I love you, right? We throw that word around. Some of us never feel comfortable saying that I love you. How many of you have been in a relationship and it took you forever to say, I love you?
True indeed.
True indeed.
Listen, it took me a little while in some relationships, but it's easy for me to say I love you because that's who I am.
Yes, but saying I love you, that's so power pack. Like I
Right.
know for me, I always had an issue if a man said to me I love you, but the action doesn't speak that supports the word love, then I
Right.
have to understand like how do you love me? What does love mean to you? Because love holds different definitions for different people, right? So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
what exactly is love? What exactly is love? And they said she loves your hair, co host. So, let's get into this a little bit more. So, the erotic love, we talked about the passionate love. We might as well get that one out the way. We all know about erotic. Someone has something turned up. I don't know if it's your phone that needs to be turned all the way down with volume. I don't know if it's something you have in the room that's on that needs to be turned off, but there's a little feedback somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. And so, as you take care of that, I'll continue. The Phileo, the love of friends and equal, the storage love. Thank you. That was it. The love of parents for children. So, and the agape love, the love of mankind. And so, I want to know exactly from each one of you what. Okay, first, let me ask this: how many of you are married? No one. How many of you have
No,
been married?
I'm married.
I
You
have.
married, Charlotte? How many of
Yes.
you have been married?
Yes, I have.
Dawn, Pastor Rosa
No.
Griffin, Mom, I salute you. I salute you, Mother Rosa. And Jeanette. Okay, so we've been in relationships, right? We've had trying relationships, we've had easy relationships, we've had all types of relationships. Tell me what does this mean to you that love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation? Elaine, can you speak to that?
Well, when I hear that, I think of you're in something, whether it's a deep relationship with your parents or someone of the opposite sex, a romantic type of love, and I think you don't really know how much love you have for that person until you lose that person or you're no longer in that relationship with that person,
Hmm.
and you know that usually by the hurt you feel afterwards.
Yes, the separation,
Yeah,
Mhm.
the
the
separation.
Mhm.
separation.
And in your relationships, and I want all of you to answer this, have you ever been in a relationship where you felt you left too soon or you should have stuck it out? Or because a lot of times in hindsight, as a woman, we learn things as we evolve. We learn things as we move forward in learning other people. And sometimes and I've counseled many women say, I wish I would have waited. I wish I would have
Mm,
had more patience. I
mm.
wish I would have been more patient to allow him to grow because he was a good guy. It's just that I was so far ahead of him. What's that like? What's that like for who wants to answer that question?
Well, I'm gonna try to whisper. This is my second marriage. However, with my first husband, um, we had to grow, and I was so far ahead of him that now we have a beautiful friendship. But sometimes I wonder, should I have waited for him? But I also believe everything happens for a reason. Because if we would have stayed together, I don't think he would have never grew. We were
Mm,
both
Mhm.
at different paths in our lives, and when we first broke up, he said I kept climbing up the hill, and I never waited for him. So
Wow, he
yes,
said that.
yes, we have a beautiful relationship now. But I think, sometimes it's always in the back of my mind. Should I have waited? But I really feel that everything happens for a reason.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, and that
Yeah.
happens. That
Yes.
happens. And I think once you identify, you accept that, right? Once we're accountable to what we could have done better, right? Had we known better, sometimes, women leave relationships and they carry guilt with them, right? Or they carry baggage, or they carry the blame, and it rolls over and spills over into the next relationship. And I just feel that there is something to a jewel in everything, even in something that happens really awful to us. We can always get a jewel out of it. I don't think that
Absolutely.
I don't think that a relationship should deplete us and tax us where we spend time in something and we leave with nothing. We
That's
leave
true.
with nothing but bad baggage. We leave nothing but with hatred. Or you understand? Or did we stay too long?
Yes.
Sandra Birthright says, or did we stay too long? And that's
Mm.
another, we can open that up. I don't know if Sir Hell is still here, but I would love for him to come up in a few minutes and as from a man's perspective. And so, Pastor Rosa Griffin, I honor you. I honor you. Can you share with us your experience with love and what this means here, what we're talking about?
Well, I think a key is we stay too long. Another key is defining what love is. Um, Many times we think, we meet someone and we see that person in a way and we say, okay, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really know that person. Um, and what happens is we find out later on that the person is not really what we thought love is.
Mm,
We made them become what we needed them to be. Maybe sometimes because that's the person that's present,
mm,
and then we stay too long, and that that can carry over into what we just came out of domestic violence awareness, and many times we stay too long. We know there are signals. We know we don't listen to that inner voice,
yeah.
that voice that tells us don't do this in the first place. When I was married twice, both ended in divorce. First marriage, the Lord said don't do it. I had an excuse. I went ahead, I did it anyway. And then I was stuck in the marriage. I had to stay way beyond the time that I wanted to be in the marriage, but because I disobeyed God, He left me in the marriage for His purposes. Um, but for other people, when you see the signals, get out. Why stay? Just get out. But
Yeah.
again, when we don't know what love is, we don't know how to apply it to ourselves. And, a lot of times we love other people more than we love ourselves, and you don't stay in something until you lose yourself. You can love this person with everything that you have, you know, but then don't lose yourself, and this
Yes.
this is what we do a lot of times as women. We do that. It's one thing, even with our children, sometimes we go beyond the boundary, a healthy boundary, and we're not helping, our children, and I'm still learning. My children are grown, they have their own kids, and I'm still learning how to back up, because if you don't, you do more damage. This is what we do as women. We don't know when to back up. We feel
Mm,
guilty,
That's right.
or my time, my time clock is the clock is ticking, and we make a lot of excuses, and then I'm emotionally immature or whatever, and we're just really afraid to be honest with ourselves about where we are and what we need,
yeah.
and then I'll just say this, and be done. You know, something God taught me, and as I was praying, every other word out of my mouth was husband, 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 husband. I want the husband, you know, and I mean, and there's a reason behind all of that. But fun, you know, after the first divorce, the Lord said to me, "You already had a husband. Ask
Yeah.
me for the right husband." And we don't want to wait for the right husband. We want this right here.
Yeah.
You know, like I said a lot of times, is that we make people what we want them to be, but they're not the right person.
That is so true. And so many of us make that mistake. Number one, what you were saying also, like from the beginning, you know, you get the signals from the beginning because of the emotional wiring of us as women. And because we see some of the things on the checklist, we kind of say, okay, I can compromise this or I cannot, you know, we know because we want it to fit. We want it to fit. And we already know that it's, and then what we do is we go against what we know. And what happens is we damage a man. We damage men. We wind up damaging a brother that probably is trying to give everything he can at that time. But because it's not a fit and because the willingness is not there to do the work together for whatever reason, then two people walk away and you have a breach. Right. And then you move on. And that's so powerful. What you said is so true. How we as women have to be accountable to ourselves and sit in ourselves and find out what is it about me? Because I find a lot of women are finger pointers, right? Men too. But when we, you know, we point fingers, but we need to turn the finger on ourselves because I learned, this is me, Sheila. I learned when nothing changes, nothing changes.
That's right.
I learned that the hard way. And people wonder where I got that from. Why do I say that every time I have a live, I talk, whatever? That set me free. When I say set me free. When one day it was said to me, listen, I mean, I kept going spinning around in a circle. When nothing changes, Sheila, nothing changes. So that to me is like something has to shift. Someone has to change.
That's right.
Someone has to humble themselves. Someone has to bite the bullet. But a change can't come unless a change is made. And that causes you to be what? Acceptance. Sometimes going through personal persecution like I had to because I'm a public person. So, you know, all those different things that play in your head when you're trying to do something right and you find yourself in a situation you know you should not have been in or gone through. Now you want out.
That's right.
For your own sanity, for your own safety. For me, I was emotionally messed up. I was sick. I had surgery, stress, all types. This marriage really did a number on me. So I had to do something, but I knew a change had to take place. A change has for all women. We know that we need to sit and learn about what is it that we need. Like I said, 95% was him. Oh, yes, it was. 95% was him. But I own 5%. I own the 5. But guess what? Listen, I'm serious to this day. I will say that 95% was him. But the 5% that I own could corrupt something.
That's right.
That's
got a little piece of the pie, right? That 5%. So what did I have to do? I had to turn the finger on myself. I had to turn the finger on myself and make a decision. I have somebody I'm going to bring to the platform, and I'm going to let you ladies and y'all we're going to bounce. And this person here is one of the first people that embraced me when I came to these YouTube streets. That's right. The kids laugh when I say that. Everybody laugh about me in these YouTube streets. But I am in these YouTube streets learning and understanding the millennials. Let's not even talk. We can't even get into that. Sir Hale might allude to that and about the modern day woman and the traditional woman. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot. Things have shifted and changed. And I'm so glad to be not sleep, right? In my age, I'm never going to be sleep. You guys know me, ain't nothing sleep about me. I'm going to always stay woke so that I can be able to what?
That's right.
Are we stirring co-hosts? We stirring co-hosts. We stirring. All right, we stirring. All right. Now. I'm going to bring first, before I bring Sir Hill up, let's put up my other friends in these YouTube streets. And I want you guys to subscribe to these channels. Blind Guy, his wife, their life. This show is awesome, awesome, awesome. I think it's on tomorrow too at 11:30. I am enjoying this panel. I'm still stubborn and I don't want to point the finger my way though. Y'all stepping on my toes. He's hilarious. I'm messing with him tonight. He is hilarious. Him and his wife have an incredible show. Let's bring Sir Hill up. Now, this is my little brother, but my big brother. It depends on how we talk and how we flowing. His wife is in the chat, Lady Hill. But listen, he is my little brother, but I'm going to bring him up. But he got an old soul. He got an old soul. He got an old soul.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Sir Hill. How are you?
Good to see everybody. I want to give you a bravo. I want to give you a hand clap.
Thank you. Listen, you're listening to what we're talking about with these beautiful ladies on this panel tonight. And this chat, you know what I felt? I said, listen, look, wait, your wife said you got a very old soul. But I felt that it would be, you know, when I thought about talking about this, I thought about you. And I knew that you were coming on live as well. So I knew I couldn't get you on. But guess what? You're here. So what do you have to contribute to us as women, and as you being an old soul, young soul, millennial, but really older? Talk to us, because your platform is about marriage and relationships, healthy living, healthy lifestyle, and you really, really have a heart for marriage. Let's go.
All right, so this is a deep topic, and I wanted to get on because you added the depth part to it.
Yes.
That's what really got me thinking about this, and thinking about the state of where we are in terms of a family and the brokenness we see with our women. Women have a depth of love that we no longer see anymore, because we are living through trauma and we're living through brokenness, and we no longer get the depth of connection and the depth of affection. We get the depth of pain and the depth of trauma. And we no longer get to the place where we get to see the beauty of love and the depth of love, because we're all still overcoming the traumas that we've dealt with before. And I think when I think about this, it's philosophical, because I'm like, love, the depth of love, but isn't love depth itself? That if I love you, I am communicating to you that there is a depth that you don't deserve, because love is not for people who want it. It's for people who need it. You see what I'm saying? Like when I think about the word about God loving us, love wasn't because we particularly just wanted it or deserved it. To be honest with you, if you go look at Corinthians, when it talks about love, nothing in there means you deserve it, right? It's patient, it's kind, it's long suffering, all that stuff. That means you're in a position where you need that love. And so the depth of love is not seen by giving it to people who want it. It's by giving it to people who don't even know that they need it. And I think this is why it's so important for us to love each other, because we never know who needs the love we have to give and what that love is doing to restore people who are broken that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good. You say, who wants to jump in?
I was going to say, it's also the flip side of that is us wanting to give love. You have to, the old song by Commission, love isn't love until you've given it away. So you gotta want to also give it to someone, whatever level that is, that they need, that you have, that you can give, because we're all on different levels, right? Because love means something different to everyone. So it's the level of which you have it that you are willing to give it away. And like he's saying, women, we are, I think this, where we are during this time, the Me Too movement, so many women have been hurt. I mean, I know men have been hurt as well, but women have been hurt so much that we are always on guard. We always have our wall up. Well, the thing about the wall, we all know, no one can get over it, but you can't get out either. So
that's good.
You have to set yourself free at some point, give it away and receive it. My father was very frugal with his money, and we used to say he holds his fist so tight because nothing can get out, but he can't get any money in it either if you're holding it that tight. So I think it's the same concept, for love. You've got to want to give it away, and you've got to want to receive it.
Yeah.
Bravo, can I ask a question to the ladies?
Sure.
So I've heard all of my life, and this is really me asking because I want to know. I've always heard that women have been hurt. Women have been hurt. And I think there's a lot of assumptions that people make when we say hurt. And of course, there can be different things. But when you say women have been hurt, like, what does that mean? What if you could break that down so that men who are hearing this can to better understand it? What does that hurt, and what does that look like?
Anyone?
Well,
Anyone?
go ahead.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Who's that, Dawn? Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't want it to echo with me and Mom. We're in the
Okay.
same house, y'all. I think honestly, I think sometimes, and I'm gonna stir the pot. I'm gonna go a little bit against the grain. We have all been hurt. Everyone has experienced hurt. And I think we hold on to that sometimes a bit too much. We are hurt sometimes because we're disappointed that our expectations were not met. But we also have to consider the fact, were your expectations realistic? Did we what part did we play in that disappointment? Because are we expecting more from people or men, whomever, than they are actually able to give? Like you said, when we're aware, we are hurt because we give a lot. But again, what part do we play in that? We have to know how to measure out our love in levels, in doses, I want to say. I'm all for, I feel like men have been hurt and men go silently suffering, but the truth is we keep comparing our hurts. We want the other one to not hurt so we can hurt longer. And then we want
Wow.
the person to heal our hurt.
Whoa.
I told you better watch yourself. They're dropping mics already now.
I said I was gonna stir it up.
No, go ahead. Don't say that one more time.
I'm gonna try. We want the other person to put their hurt on pause so we can hurt longer. We don't want to acknowledge the other part of that. And we as women, because the weight of the home is on us, I feel like sometimes, and again, I'm sorry, ladies, sometimes I feel like we drag our hurt out because we become so accustomed to that saying and that phrase that we don't know how to bounce back from it. We don't know how to not even allow, when you was a kid and you ride your bike and you fall down, you fell down and you scraped your knee, but then you had to get up. Some of us are still on the floor scraping our knee with a knee scrape, and life is still going on, and we have to stop sitting in that hurt and making men, I don't want to say now, whoever hurt you is responsible for that hurt, but we cannot punish the entire male race. And I'm not saying that this is what everybody's doing, for what happened to us. I think when you take ownership in whatever happened to you, that is when the healing begins. And then you are a lot more open to not put that weight on the next person. Am I making sense? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when we say women have been hurt, we have been hurt, but so have men. We have also caused hurt.
That's right.
I think we're just used to putting that blame out and carrying this label where it's okay for the woman to be wounded and rest in it. But what are we doing about getting up?
True. That goes back also to what Mom was saying earlier when she was sharing about being married and how we get the signals, and because we just want a man and we just want to be married because of pressure, right?
Yeah.
How old are you? You're not married. And we know that that's not the guy. We know he has some characteristics, but we don't have a lot of chemistry, but we can kind of make it happen, right? And then we wind up
my story.
we wind up getting into this, getting married, right? And then find out sort of we woke up in a sense, but yet the damage that we did to that other individual who came in the gate willing to do everything we say we wanted, but yet we find out, oops, I made a mistake. So now we've hurt that person, but we walk away hurt because we took ourselves into a hurt situation. Not because he necessarily did it, although he might have had some things to do with it, but the accountability and having those signals and saying, you know what, I should have waited. And that's what sometimes I have a problem with that, because that's where the finger pointing happens and it's never turned on yourself. When I turned the finger on me, like I said, I owned up to 5%. Y'all not gonna make me take 10. I take 5%. He had 95, but the 5%. I owned up. Listen, and I took my butt to counseling and sat down somewhere and started dealing with some layers I didn't even know was there from childhood.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say,
go ahead, Elaine.
That's a whole, big part of what Dawn was saying, that. But I think where women get stuck, and men, because I have had the opportunity to talk to some men who are in relationships right now and they're hurt, but we don't know how to get out of it. We don't have the tools. We don't know how to ask. We have, the hurt. Like she said, men will hurt in silence, but so do many women. I think it's no longer a man or woman thing. I just think it's a people thing, especially those of us who were brought up in the church, because we are told to pray and God will fix it. And he will, after he also caused that person to go to school to get the degree to help you. Now you got to go so you can get the therapy so you can get healed. But we don't teach that. We teach pray and God will be a healer. Pray and God will fix it. But you've got to be able to find those tools that will help you because sometimes the hurt is not just that moment. You may have moved on, you may move past it, something happens, triggers it. You still got to have those tools to be able to get yourself back to the place where where you felt like you were healing. And that's for everybody. And we have no idea what goes on in homes, how we were probably all, what happens in this house stays in this house. Where do you get healed after that? How do you get healed? And so we just have a perpetual cycle.
Yeah.
I
agree. But
and sometimes we have to look at, the expectations of others and deal with our own expectations. We have to walk the walk that we feel in our heart. And regardless of what other people, do and say, we have to know how we feel in our heart and don't let people change us, whether it's man, woman, or whoever. You are who you are, and you have to love the way you love within truly,
That
and
becomes your
I just know I don't allow anybody to change me, what I feel, who I am, and how I do things. It might hurt the way they do things, because I'm human, but my expectations, what I've been brought up to see, and the way I've traveled and done things, and done things in life, I don't want nobody to have I don't expect people to feel the way I feel and do what I do, because it is what it is. And that's what I've learned throughout life and seeing things in life.
Expectation low, acceptance high.
Absolutely.
Right? That keeps you sane. That keeps you not causing or making someone or trying to make someone be what you need them to be at that moment, because that's what you want. So expectation, because we're all in our not yetness, right? We expect, I expect from the Lord, but when people are fickle, you expect certain things within the marriage unit, like you and Butch were married, and because y'all were so strong and solid in your marriage, you guys were so solid, and I'll take credit because I introduced you to him, so I'll say that publicly. I introduced you to your husband. I sure did. I remember that night. I was singing at this big club in New York City, and you were there supporting me on the stage. And Butch came in, and you said, "Who's that?" And he said, "Who's that?" I said, "You don't know Janine?" He said, "No, introduce me." That night, was the first night y'all was together and y'all were
That's
together
right.
for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so you can speak from the depth
Mm-hmm.
of what we're talking about.
That's right.
Unfortunately, you know, he passed away, and that's where that separation piece comes in,
Absolutely.
right? You knew
Absolutely.
the depth of losing him, but there was no regret. Someone else wanted to say something. I don't know if it was Mom or Charlotte. Sir Hill,
Yeah,
jump. Mom? Okay, go ahead, Mom.
I wanted to say I agree with Dawn. I agree with Elaine as well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with Dawn. I agree with Elaine as well. I'm saying we have to take responsibility. We really do. We have to take responsibility for why we are entering into a relationship, because no one can mean everything to us. If we don't know God, in all honesty, it's not about religious or anything. It's just a fact.
Mhm.
You know, if we don't know who we are, defined by God, not defined by a man, you know, or a woman, because people are looking at us cosmetically, but there's a person that's inside that God sees, and we don't even see until we see through him who we are. So until we love ourselves, we can't expect somebody else to love us. We cannot expect, because we don't even know who we are to show that person, that man, you know, who we are. You know, when, like, I remember going to a party. There was a guy across I'm just saying, there's a guy across the room who caught my eye, and someone else, I caught somebody else's eye. And so when he came over to talk to me, I didn't want to talk to him, you know, because I wanted to talk to this other person. It's about a choice. We make this decision. We say, okay, this is what I feel, and I want to share this with this person, you know. And to me, that's what love is a decision that we make to be with this person. That may not, it may not work out the way we want it to work out, but we made that decision to be with that person. So then we have to take accountability for having made that decision. But when we get into a relationship, if we don't go in that relationship understanding that neither one of us are perfect, it's not going to work. So we go in the relationship knowing each other's imperfections and being willing to live with that person, to care for that person, to respect that person, and to honor that person. It's not about all the whoopie-doo and we're going to feel this way forever and a day, because tomorrow now, I may feel good today, but tomorrow I'm not going to feel good. But I'm still stuck with this person, you know. So it's a decision. You know, we have to make that decision. That's what Jesus said. He said, you love me when you obey me. When we go through the good and the bad, and you know, Ezekiel tells us, eat the bitter with the sweet. That's what it is. You know, it's that decision that I think you're worth it for me to go through your madness, because that's you know, it comes to that. It becomes a madness. You know, there's a tall, blue-eyed, whatever, you know, whatever the definitive is, you know, that with this person that we say perfect, but they're not perfect. But it's a decision that we make, that I think that you're worth it. I think you're worth the risk, you know. But
Absolutely.
we really do have to be sober about our decisions when we, you know, when we get into whatever we get into.
Blind guy, and that's well said, Mom. Blind guy, his wife, their life. Being hurt does require healing in order to keep moving forward. We can't stay hurt without trying to heal. And that is so true. And sometimes I think we use the excuse, you know, how long does it take to heal? Like, what are we spending? I mean, and I know it depends on how hard you feel you were hurt or you were hurt. It depends on the magnitude, because I know even in domestic violence, right? it's very difficult to counsel women who have been in DV because of the longer they stay, the longer they believe the lie, right? And it's not just women. I've counseled men who is getting beat up by the woman, right? Which goes unnoticed. And you know, because men have a level of pride. And I realized that type of incision in your heart is deeper to heal, but this still goes back to the decision and wanting to change, because when nothing changes, nothing changes. But again, I also find that people who have been in dysfunction or who have been in so-called pain for a certain amount of years, they get comfortable in feeling uncomfortable. And then when people try to show them love, they reject it.
Right.
It's unfamiliar. It's like, oh no, what you want? No. But then how do you help a person who won't even realize you're off? It's offness, you know. So you know, it's offness. It is what it is, right? And so we have to make decisions. Sir Hill.
And this is just, I'm sitting here listening, and I got questions, but this is beautiful. And I wish me personally, I saw a lot more of this, because I think this is what's missing in community, us being able to hear women who've have experience with life talk about things like this. This is prolific. I'm a talker, but me just listening, I'm like, this is amazing stuff. Bravo, you said something that really got me. Several years ago, when I was about 19 or 20, I moved to Texas, and I've always been a dressed brother. Always been dressed. And so, but I would walk 2-3 miles to work back and forth each day with hard dress shoes on. Well, doing that for a year, cold, hot, I end up getting an ingrown toenail, and it was terrible, and it was hard to walk. But I walked on it. You know, I walked on it. I had to adjust a little bit. I limped a little bit, and I could have went to the doctor, paid the $250, got it fixed, and been healed in a month. But I adjusted to the pain, and I let it linger for 6 months. So what you said is spot on. Like, a lot of us, we just get so comfortable in our routine that pain becomes part of our daily routine. And we get used to, you know, adjusting to the numbness and to the pain and to not being able to be mobile, up until we get around people who need us to be healthy to do something else.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of us, this is why it's so important to govern your circle, the people who you're around, because unhealthy people are going to make it comfortable to be unhealthy. But when you get around some men and some women who are like, nope, I expect better than you. Hurt don't look good on you, right? Depression don't look good on you. And I need you to come out of this. It forces you to assess the pain and say, I'm coming out of this as well. So I love what you said, that sometimes we adjust to the pain, and the reason we don't change it is because we have people who enable us to be perpetual victims. Love what you said.
Absolutely. I have a question. Okay, once you finish, Elaine, I have a question.
Also, Dawn knows that this is near and dear to me, because I had a ministry, Let the Healing Begin. And we all hurt differently, just like we all spend money differently. We all hurt differently. I think that people will do the work that it's required to heal when they are told that their hurt is justified. Because a lot of times we don't let them. Now, I'm not saying you get in that place and you stay there. We don't want that. But in order for them to start healing, I think they have to understand that they're hurt. You're allowed to feel hurt. You're allowed to feel this way. The hurt is justified. We're not saying that you can't be hurt or that you shouldn't be, because we cannot tell anyone how they should or should not feel. True. But I think that's the first step. Your hurt is justified. We see you. We see that you're hurt. Now we want to help you so you no longer feel that way, or you can begin the healing process.
Yes, because it is okay to not be okay. Right?
For a little while.
For a little while. Yeah, right. We can't let you lay there and sleep there and get a bunker. No, it's okay to not be okay. And that is saying exactly what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. You're right, that wrong was done. I hear what you're saying. You know, many women who have been abused, sexually molested. Can I say that? I say the wrong words. We're in A, and they tells me not to say certain words on here. She checks me. So, you know, YouTube will do all kind of striking and stuff. You know, you got to say delete and, you know, certain words, right, Sir Hell? Right? You got to say certain words. Yeah. And so I understand that. And, you know, it is okay to not be okay. Like you're saying, that's a very big piece of counseling. So a person, it's justifiable what you're feeling, but got to do the but thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. But what we going to do about it? Because when nothing changes, nothing changes. So how long are we going to be here? And that's the difference sometimes with Christian counseling and secular counseling. You know, we know many people have been in counseling with therapists for like 10, 15 years in therapy. And in Christian counseling, I do short-term counseling, right? Because we use the Spirit of God, right? I know how to counsel outside of Christ and wiggle in there and no one will know I'm doing it, right? Because you have to counsel all people, whether they're Buddhists, whether they're Muslims, whatever. You have to learn how to be creative like that. And because of how God uses me, I can get that spiritual piece in there. Because the natural man will continue to be dormant. The natural soulish nature is what reminds you of all this pain, and it does not want to release you. We know that as believers. But as soon as you start bringing in the Lord in the session in whatever way you can navigate him in there, then the spirit begins to chop away at the soulish nature and you see progress. Right? Because as long as you speak to the natural man not budging because he's contending with the spirit. And so a lot of times with counseling, and that's why when we go to school, we learn, take the jewels, leave the junk, right? I just don't throw away everything that I've learned as far as, the psychiatric part of and the philosophies of the natural realm. But in counseling, and a lot of women sometimes refuse to go and get help. Because like you said earlier, there was a stigma. We don't go, what goes on in this house and what goes on in your life stays in this life. Those days are over. Like my granddaughter said, period. Those days are over if you want to survive. Time is getting short. Things are winding down. And I refuse to let any inch steal from me again. Right? That's how bold we have to get. We have to not allow anything to come and rob us of even a second. I don't do toxic nothing. Toxic nothing. I paid a price to be where I am today. And so we have to understand in life, it's about decisions and choices. Where are we going? What are you contributing? We're here on this earth to contribute, to leave something here, not take everything with us. What are we going to deposit? Right? How can we move forward? And I have a question. How many of you believe in soulmates?
Soulmates?
Soulmates.
Yeah, I believe I have a soulmate.
You believe you had a soulmate?
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes.
So do you mean by a soulmate that there is one person specifically designed for you, or somebody can become that?
Either or. Either
Right.
or.
That's on the same level in every category, basically. With
okay, let me read this.
Your emotions, all that.
Let me read this and let's see if you agree. Somebody turn their mic down. Okay. And all soulmates, both romantic and platonic, should make you feel absolutely loved, secure, and wholly understood. You not only feel deeply connected with a romantic soulmate, but a true sense of passion and chemistry. Relationships aren't always easy. You're going to experience ups and downs together. You might not know if your soulmate, your soul is your soulmate. Focus on growing with your partner. So it says, it talks about the 10 steps to understand if you have a soulmate. It talks about you just know it. When you have a soulmate, you just know it. There is no test that will help you determine if you found your soulmate or not. You have to feel it in your gut that this person is right one for you. We know it sounds funny, but when you get that feeling, you'll know what it means. You should feel energized by their presence, comfortable enough to completely open up, and just giddy with love. Connections manifest themselves in different ways for everyone, and feelings can change over time. What say ye?
As a man, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't know that I solely believe in a soulmate.
Okay.
I do believe in a helpmate, in that
Okay.
if that helpmate is really intentional about my life, then that helpmate becomes a soulmate. But I don't think it just happens right off the bat. I don't believe
Okay.
that it works that way.
And that's why I posed this question,
A
because
deep question.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I posed this. And let's see what Daryl is saying. Daryl is saying soulmates is a hard one to answer. If they do exist, I dare say haven't met her. Okay. Greg O says relationships are too much work with the current mentality. Mhm. And your nephew put a big red X. Sir Hell, your nephew put a big red X. All right. So it
Well,
says that
I'm gonna tell
hold
you.
on 1 second, Jay. It says they're your best friend. A friendship is the best foundation for any relationship. Why do you think so many are about to be BFFs who get together? If you are in a trusting, positive relationship, that's an amazing sign. Being with them feels like home. They're saying when you have a soulmate, someone that it very makes you feel mushy inside. No matter where you are in the world, being with your soulmate feels like home. There's an unmistakable feeling of comfort and ease when they're by your side. You spend so much time with your significant other, so being with them should make you feel peace. Of course, there will probably be butterflies and nerves at first, but after you get comfortable with each other, it should feel natural.
Mhm.
See, is it man? We ain't think about no butterflies. Let me tell you something. What it is for men is really simple. In Proverbs 31, we talk about the virtuous, the virtuous woman. One of those things that people overlook is said that I forget which verse, but it says, "In her doth his heart safely trust her."
Yes.
So for a man, it's not really about all the feelings. It's, can I talk to you? Can I trust you? And will you protect my heart? If he gets a combination of those three things, it's not about feelings. It's about that trust.
The trust.
You see what I'm saying? And the reality is, a lot of men, they've never gotten that. They've gotten the sex. They've gotten, maybe some romance, but to be able to be heard, to hear his heart, like hear him without him telling you the truth of his experience, and you not lose respect for him. That's a deep thing. Oh, that's a deep thing. So to be heard, to be respected, and then for his heart to safely trust, that's what men are looking for.
That's what they're looking for.
Yep.
I think that's what women are looking for too,
Yeah.
as they get older.
I agree. Yep.
Absolutely.
I think we look for the butterflies when we're in our 20s and 30s.
Ain't nothing wrong
Once
with
we
a few
realize the
butterflies.
butterflies don't mean nothing, then we're going on to the other side of it.
Yeah. Age has a lot to do with transitioning about love and the depth of love. Learning. Yeah.
With what you just said, with your question, does that soulmate tie into the concept of being in love? Are those things connected?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they
respect.
connected. Mhm.
Respect, it's love. You share life goals. You challenge each other to grow. It's an ingredient. You you can totally be yourself, like you said. You can totally be, there's no faking it when it comes to your soulmate. You can be totally yourself around them, and they'll love you for you. They'll love you for you. You share your guilty pleasures, your weird quirks, your deepest secrets, and it will just make them love you more. So it's an ingredient. Before I would hear, oh, soulmate, but I never heard the breakdown of what is that. It's like, oh, we met, we fell in love, we get along, that's my soulmate. Well, no, that's not enough.
No.
What are you talking about? What are you talking? My soulmate? Do you know what that's saying? Those two words, my soulmate, and says you fight for the relationship. Relationships aren't always easy, even between soulmates, but you two work hard for the relationship. This often means compromising, working on yourself, or talking through issues, not yelling through issues, talking through issues. You might argue or disagree over something, but you come out of the situation stronger and more understanding of each other, because what? You're talking and not yelling. That's when understanding happens.
right.
You know, the word of God said, and all you're getting, get what? Come on, class, get understanding.
Understand.
There we go. You understand each other's emotional language. Now that's deep right there. We go boop, 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 park right there, because that's deep, because that's loaded. That's so, don't laugh at me, Elaine. That is so loaded. Knowing you someone emotionally. Do you know how many people I've known, friends that have been married and still to this day, and they don't know each other emotionally, because they're just like two ships passing in the night, and they have the kids and they working and they've lost contact. Did they ever know each other emotionally? I don't know.
No.
But that's a
Probably not.
learned process. To me personally, that's a learned process. In reference to my second marriage, and Dawn knows, and Mother Rose, you have to. It's a learned process. When I met my second husband, I'm going to say yes, it was love, but we had to work, and we're still working on the emotion, like where he knows my emotion, I know his emotion. It's a learned process as you're in a relationship, and sometimes, or as you stated, sometimes you could walk away, but you got to choose also to stay together and to grow and to be able to accept that person when they're down and out, and vice versa. Be able to trust them with your deepest secret, and vice versa. And that's where I'm currently at now in this current marriage. It's still we've been together for like 16 years, and but I would say through the latter part we are starting to trust each other again, to learn each other again, to grow as husband and wife, as a soulmate. Because that doesn't, I have to agree with Sir Hill. Maybe when I was young, my first love, that was my soulmate. But as I've matured, that's a work in progress. You have to be able to let your guard down and be able to grow with that person, whereas they will become your helpmate and your soulmate. And it can happen multiple times in one's lifetime. That's how I feel.
Grego says these days things don't work because everyone is competing for the same role. It's unrealistic. Yes, yes, yes. And he also says that marriage is a business first and foremost. Don't get it twisted. With all of the love and fuzzy stuff being the foundation of a marriage, this is why divorce involves liquidation and splitting of assets. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I just
you know,
add, you mentioned about people knowing each other emotionally. And oftentimes we don't know each other emotionally. It's something that we learn as we go along. And that's because when we start out, we don't start out, we start out with a lot of false pretenses. Everybody talks about the representative that shows up, because we want to be liked. We want to put our best foot forward. We want to be that king and that stallion. We want to be that queen and that damsel. We want to be that it for them. And so when you start out that way, you have to keep it up that way.
Mm.
And we often in that we are not interested in the person's emotions, honestly. You may be interested in their surface emotions. Can I make them feel like this, or they make me feel like this? But when you get down to the depth of a person's emotions, that's something that you have to learn over time, and that's something that you learn through friendship. I'm at a point where I'm not trying to impress you no more. Listen, I ain't trying to convince you. I ain't trying to compete with nobody. This is it. This is what you get. Straight way. That's it. Either you can handle it or you can't. I can't do less than 100. It's just what it is. But that emotional piece is so important, because even as we get to know each other, we're always evolving. So who you marry today, 5 years from now, is not going to be the same person. We have to leave room. We have to stop blocking and locking each other into this one moment in time. Who is in this wedding picture is only captured in the picture. You know, that's it. That's the first and last time you're gonna see that.
That's it.
That person. You know, 10 years from now, that dress ain't gonna fit, that suit ain't gonna fit, you ain't gonna fit, we might not fit. You know, we gotta change together. And that's, I think, the problem is that we keep getting stuck in this one moment in time and building this relationship off of this one moment in time. I want to know where you're evolving to. You know, can we? Because I'm still trying to figure me out sometimes. You know, I tell everybody, listen, bro, I this is who you're getting today, and I'm sorry you might not get her tomorrow. I don't know. Tomorrow didn't get here yet. You know, I joked last time. I tell my son every day we wake up. Listen, he's 20. I'll be 53. I don't know you that well. I just met you. You know, I just met you today. I don't know who you are today. We're learning each other along the way. And it's the same way in relationships. When we stop boxing each other in and going into it with a realistic concept or a realistic thought that who I am today, I can't expect you to make room for me to grow, but I have a problem with your changes. You know, I expect you to stay the same, but I'm going to keep, and then I expect you to change with my change, but I'm not willing to change with your change, you know, so we can't get locked into that. And we can't assume that the butterflies or the emotions of that moment are going to carry the relationship, because it's not. You know, we have to leave each other room to grow and to evolve. And just to share again on the topic initially, because this song keeps popping in my head. You know, that love knows no depth. You know, also what you won't do for love. You know, you tried everything.
Go ahead.
No, that way in this world, you make me do for love, but I would not do. We don't know the depth of our love until we get to the point where the depth of our love is needed.
Ooh.
You know, you don't know what you would do. You know, you don't know how far you would go until you really get to the place where that love is needed. And then that love expands. If you think about all the things that we've done that we didn't think we could do, or we said we would never do, but that one person made you go beyond. You know? So,
yeah, awesome. I had a friend who, well, a couple of friends, but this one comes to mind. And her husband got caught transporting some things, and it was a lot of stuff. And all of a sudden, that whole marriage shifted. That just rocked the whole household, the whole marriage. And she found herself in a position of, what do I do? Because the time he was getting, she had a decision to say, you know what, I can't do this. I didn't sign up for this. You made a bad decision, and I'm sorry. And she had a decision to say, I'm going to rock out with you. I don't care if you're in here for 15 years, because the foundation that they had and how he gave her his heart and she gave him her heart was enough for her to do the bid with him. That depth of love. Now, of course, people were like, you stupid. You know how old you're going to be. You know how old he's going to be. You know what's going to happen to, all the voices coming at her. But because it was so rock solid, she decided to ride out with him and ride it out because of the depth of the love. And because she stayed, favor came his way, and the time he was supposed to do got cut in half. He comes out, and they didn't miss a step. They didn't miss a beat, right? Of course, they had to talk about some things, but we're talking about the depth of love, right? And does it know anything? Do you know the difference when it separates you for whatever reason? That was a huge decision on her part that she had to make. Like, this man getting ready to go away for 15 years. What am I going to do?
It's a lot of time.
And he, on the other hand, was so noble, was saying, you don't have to wait. He loved her enough to let her go. He loved her so much, but he was saying, I can't tie you up. And she says, tie me up. Because I know what we have. And guess what? They're still doing well today. He's a businessman, their children are well, but again, it's decision and choices. Let me see what Greg O's saying right here. He is saying men can smash without love being involved, but a man will lay his life down for one who is developed a strong love for. That's that question we always say. How you mess with her? You cheated on me. He's like, baby, it meant nothing. It meant nothing. What do you mean it meant nothing? You went and you laid down with somebody. He's saying, don't you? I love you. I love you. You can't love me. You slept with somebody. It meant nothing. And guess what? To be honest, it meant nothing. But who has the capacity to carry that? Who has the capacity to say, I forgive you, if that person doesn't know how much that man loves them because they made a mistake? And that's a whole nother conversation. Sir Hill, you want to jump in on that one?
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot to get into. I did have a question.
Okay.
And this is because I don't think a woman under 30 is capable of this maturity. I just don't believe that unless she's been raised to be this mature. I think most women get this depth after 35, 40. My question to you is, can women truly maintain respect for a man who really shows his emotional side with her? Can she see that part of him and really maintain respect for him?
I can answer that first. I love that. I love when I have a relationship. I really love when I can when I can sit and be with my man and he can just tell me every pain, everything. He can cry, he can whatever. That just turns me on because it causes it solidifies. I trust you, Sheila. It solidifies. I'm taking a shot with you, Sheila.
That's right.
It solidifies. I wanted to say this for 5 years, but I had these women and I couldn't talk. I love that. I don't think of them any less. As a matter of fact, I raised them up even higher. That's just me. I don't know about you guys. Can jump in. Somebody
I feel the same way, Sheila.
Turn the mic down.
I think women, we look for that. I know for me, I look for that because that's who he is, that inner person. I mean, the chauvinism and all that, that's fine. But the person that you're looking to see is that child that's on the inside. You want to see where the hurt. You want to see, what makes him smile and, that the inner person. So, yeah, you do. I think that's where the respect comes, because if he has enough trust to be transparent, as long as she, truly loves him, she's, would you say, Sheila, tie me up? That's where that comes in at. Yeah.
And then they can trust you. You can trust them with their feelings, and they can trust you with.
Auntie, you got mom acting up now. Now she acting. I don't know who this lady. I'm gonna have a talk. For those who don't know, that's my mother. That's my mother. Okay. So that wasn't my mother right there. That was Rosa talking. There's a difference. That wasn't Pastor either. That was Rosa.
Tomorrow she'll say, I didn't say that.
I think that I think my thing is you're gonna cry somewhere. And I would rather you cry here. Let this be the well that you come back to.
Wait, what? Oh, you said what? You're gonna cry somewhere.
Y'all gonna cry somewhere. Somewhere.
Somebody's shoulder. You're gonna find your way somewhere. It's gonna get too heavy somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
Don't get caught out there.
If you're human, you will.
Listen, sir. If look, I didn't show up for nothing. Okay. So I'd rather you cry here, and that says something about creating that safe space. It is important. And I want to say, like, I've always been this way, just really sensitive, even when I was younger. about creating safe spaces for whoever I'm with, because I don't want you out in the world and in the street, bearing this or releasing it in front of other people who are not going to have your back, who are going to leave you uncovered. At least when you come here in this safe space and you
That's
cry, I know how to comfort you, and it's not always something physical. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
this is that place where we heal together, where we work together, where I'm going to cover you. I'm not going to think any less of you because you're human. Nope. I'm going to wipe your tears with my hands, my hair, whatever. If we got to cry together, I would
Yeah.
rather you do it
Okay.
here. So
Yeah.
that when you get up from here, you go out there and you be the man that you are, that most people are afraid that you will become. You what you say, square them shoulders back, and walk like the king you are. I
Right.
would rather, that's me. I'd rather be that safe space.
That's
And I
right.
would give you even more respect.
I
when you
believe
get
that.
up.
That's right.
I've cried with men before. I've cried, and to this day, no one ever heard me ever repeat, even though I'm not with them. I've never repeated. I've never exposed the man.
Absolutely.
No matter what he's done, wrong, right, or indifferent to me, I've always kept my integrity, and I've never exposed anyone, because I think that's wrong for someone to share something with you, deeply with you, and you use it as a come up. You use it as a weapon. Listen,
Absolutely.
no, a man should never cry in front of his woman. Grego, what you talking about? Every woman is not a snake. Every woman is not a betrayer. What, Grego?
We
But
all
that's-
have emotions, even
Yeah.
men.
Yeah. And that's how
Everybody
a
is
woman will
emotional.
know.
And when you can't release those feelings to the one that you love and care about, then who can you release it to?
This
But
is why men cheat. And I'm gonna be really honest with you. Most men, people think it's just they need to go get some. It's not that. Men cheat with the woman that can listen to them. There are some women I've talked to, they work the night. They work the night shift, if you know what I'm talking about. And not at Walmart, right? So, but what they would say is that sometimes it wouldn't be about the physical act. The guys that just want to talk. And I've learned, now I am not very old. I'm 35 years old, but I got a gray hair, so I feel more mature than I am. As I get older, sometimes you just want to be heard. Even deeper, sometimes it's not even that you want to talk. You want somebody to understand your silence.
Absolutely.
And that's a deep thing for a man. And
That's the emotional that she was talking about.
Exactly.
That's how a woman knows that she cares deeply for the man, because she protects him. Like Dawn was saying, she develops that safe space, but she also protects what she knows about him, what she has absorbed about him. That's not for the rest of the world to know. That's between the two of them. And she's going to protect that. And she's never going to, as Pastor Sheila was saying, she's never going to expose him. When Grego was saying a man should never cry in front of a woman, he's not there yet.
Wait.
No, let me tell you
Grego
something.
got another one. He got another one, and then I'm gonna let Sarah Hale speak to Grego. He said chameleons don't change colors and switches don't get flipped. Okay, Greg. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I'm telling you, this comes from a real place.
It
Like
comes from a real place.
most men have loved a woman who didn't protect his heart. I can tell you, most men have never heard what you just said, Miss Elaine, about I'm gonna protect your heart, Miss Dawn B. I'm gonna create a safe space, and not just say it, but mean it. That even if I am angry with you, I won't bring up your stuff. Like Pastor Sheila just said, even when I'm angry and I could do this, and I could say, well, you said, well, if we wouldn't have argued if you didn't, we don't have a lot of women who can own their 5% and say, you know what, even though I feel this way, I will not bring this up. Most men have been damaged, and even if not by their girlfriend, but by their moms.
Yeah,
Moms have said stuff when they get spiteful,
That's
right?
facts.
And so what he's saying is not because he doesn't want to trust. That statement comes from a place of being hurt before. And once you hurt a man like that, it is almost impossible to get that full transparency from him ever again.
He says, talk with and cry with your boys. They'll troll you sometimes, but if you don't cut and or sting like your ex, throwing it in your face.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
But I mean, that's real talk though.
Absolutely.
That's real talk. That's honesty.
That's real talk from a hurt man that's been hurt.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's real. It's an
right.
experience.
It's real. That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's definitely an experience, and we speak from our
Absolutely.
experience, right? And even though he's saying it, doesn't mean he's still bruised as
Right.
if it just happened. He's speaking as he's sharing with us what.
Right.
Yeah, he's aware and he's guarded. Yeah, okay, rightfully so, because we don't know the level of what has gone on, but at least he's talking. Right now, certain women would hear that and be wanting to cause an argument, friction. What you talking about? You shouldn't say that. That's not right. You insult. Wrong. It's so wrong. You got to listen and you got to hear the heartbeat of what a person is saying. Where's it coming from? So I appreciate you, Grego. I appreciate you. He says, been there, done that. I get it.
I hear you.
Then Grego's on a roll. He says, learned and became a better man for it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Wow, this is so good. This is so wonderful. Come on, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
What else we go? Oh no, wait. Let's ask Sir Hale something. Ladies. I already know some of these answers because I tell you, he my little brother, big brother. It depends on how we flowing. He could be the pastor on Sunday morning. Is it like he wear a trillion hats? He's very, very smart. He does a lot of things. His wife is very, very smart. And so you have been married to Lady Hale since high school. No. Sure.
19.
19. Well, yeah, right out of high school, whatever. And you guys have 4 beautiful children. Somebody's running water or someone's doing something. I hear it. I hear water. I hear something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, and so in your transitioning, because you know you got an old soul, and sometimes you speak like you've been on this earth for around 50-something years, like 50 plus years, right? Not because you look at because what's inside of you and what comes out of you, what comes out of you. And so was there a time, and you don't have to answer this, but was there a time when the road got rocky in between these years of, because you were young, so young, but you guys are building an empire now. What a team they are. No, I'm serious. When you say she have his back, I have her back, you got to get on that show with me soon too. You see, I've got it posted, my backbone, right? I want a man's perspective, but tell us a little bit of what happened in your marriage and how you got to this place of building this incredible space that you're building.
Well, so let me get religious with you for just a moment. At 7 years old, I lost my dad at 5 years old. 7 years old, I had already began to pray for my wife and kids. At 7 years old.
At 7?
Yes. Already began to do that because I wanted to be a great father and a great husband. And since 7 years old, I've been in ministry talking about relationship. Like I knew something. I'm 7 years old. I'm telling people, I'm like, but I've been doing this for years. So I didn't realize that all those years of being in church, all the years of people praying for me. And I had really good women in my life saying, but you are a king, especially my mother. You're a king. So you can't be out here just doing anything. I was a young minister, young musician, very talented. I sang. And you can't be out here with every girl. You can't be out here. All of that preparation prepared me for the challenges of marriage. And there were some deep moments where I didn't know that it could last. I'm 19 years old. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm 19 years old. And the getting married at 19 and not being a man at 19, you know what I mean? I'm not even a full person, but I've got to be a full husband, be a full dad. It's a very difficult thing. And so when you don't know what you have to do, it's chaos for everybody. Now I'm trying to be militant, to prove that I'm a man, and I got to be a militant dad. Like, it's just fear because you don't know what you're doing, and there's no point of reference. So I got married at 19, but I became a man at 30 years old. So what you're seeing now, people are like, you're polished. They see the polish. They don't see the dirt, the decade of dirt that I had to go through in terms of not knowing how to handle stuff, living in the projects, living with my wife's mother, you know what I mean? Like really bad, but still striving. And day by day saying, God, if you take care of me, give me what I need to take care of my family. And then trusting him, right? And then every day trying it over and over again. And when we could walk away, and when there were times we did walk away, still saying, God, I trust you. And that if this is for me, give me something to come back to. Because who I was at 19, I wasn't that at 23, let alone 30, let alone 35. So God, give me something to come back to. And when you can go back to prayer and your vows, and you can find a reason to stick together, because no one wants to just be with somebody just to be with somebody. What's the reason we're here?
That's it.
And as I became more, my wife has gotten on board. My wife was headstrong. I'll be honest with you, headstrong sister, right? But over the years, we both have grown, and there was no better truth and understanding that when you follow order in marriage, when you follow order, God blesses that. He blesses it. And so we've gone through this journey together through a lot of issues and mistakes, but we've grown together, and it's just now getting good. 15 years, it was bad for about 10 of them, right? Had some good moments in there. Was making babies. So something was going right. He was doing something, you know what I mean? But in terms of having that friendship and that trust there, that respect, and then not letting people get in between what we have, that took years to build. And that's why I'm on YouTube now, helping people not to make the stupid mistakes we made and to learn early. Because it's a terrible thing to lose somebody that you could have made it work if you were mature enough to know how to appreciate what you had.
That's so true. Being mature enough to understand. Let's see your wife. She chatting. You should have came up here, Lady Hill. She said, I agree. Order is the solution. There were several times I was totally out of order, and order just worked. Listen, you should have came up here, Lady Hill. Let's see what she says here. People resist order, but order works. Yeah. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. That was so, I think, bravo. Come on, give yourself a bravo. Where's the machine?
Bravo.
Pick the machine.
Let's go.
I think that that was awesome. Lady Dawn says, yes, Lady Hill, share your truth. Absolutely. And I think you guys are such a wonderful example, where young and middle age and old can learn from you. Now, I know you haven't finished living yet, and you got some years, some other experience that you have not run into yet. It's coming down the pipe, but you wear it well. You wear it well. Anyone want to add something? Who's been quiet? I don't know what happened to Charlotte. She always falls off of the live, right? Every time we have a live and she's on, for some reason, she falls off the live.
She actually double booked herself, so she had to drop off.
All right. Well, I have to thank her for being on. Elaine.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Elaine.
Yes.
Is it Minister Elaine? Am I?
No.
Okay. All right. Elaine.
Look at Dawn. Look at Dawn.
We're gonna tie this up. This has been really great. I want you guys to give the last words on what we're talking about, the depth of love, and how until the hour of separation. I think that women need to understand that tomorrow's not promised to us.
That's right.
And when we are in the presence of someone who we can build with, who we can grow with, who we can cry with, who we can love with, right? Look at me like I'm in love with somebody, right? I remember those. So you never forget how to love. You never forget how to love, ever, ever, ever. Right? It's just something, it's a thing that no woman that loves to love forgets, whether it's in her life or not in her life. I can speak to it because, I really think that my husband I think he was my soulmate, and that I never found a love like that in my life. You know, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Wayne when he got killed, Jeanette, and how all of you saw the love
Mhm.
Wayne and I.
Yes.
Jeanette was around from the beginning
Mhm.
to the end, and you saw how he took care of me and how
Yeah.
special we were together. I was young, but he was on point,
Mhm.
and he married me. And so when he was killed, the day I had my second daughter, that's why I understand the depth of love, but also the separation of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes you never get it again. And I remember people saying, "You're never gonna find another Wayne. You never remember Jeanette? You're never gonna find another Wayne. You're never gonna
Mhm.
find another one like that. And to date, I really haven't, right? I haven't been looking per se, right? Because that's living in the past. You gotta come forward, but remember what you had. But
Yeah.
love knows no depth. What does it mean to me? And it means so much to me. Will I have love again on that level again? I won't say no, right? Because then I'll be smacking God in the face saying it's not possible, right? All things are possible with the Lord. Amen.
That's right. Amen.
Amen. And so
Mm.
I know for me, I want women and men to understand and know that love is special. It's unconditional. It's not on today and off tomorrow. It's, two people merging together, understanding that you bring quality to each other. And trust is
Mhm.
so important to be able for you to pull out of me what no one could pull out of me. And I can pull out of you because I'm looking deep in you, right? The depth of looking into your mate is deep because it's no stopping. It's continuous looking and searching and helping and pulling. And so I just want people to understand from this broadcast that love is so special. And I pray that women of today, the modern women, the modern day women that I'm learning so much about in these YouTube streets will understand that there's a price you pay to get what
Yeah.
you want. There's a price. Just like there's a price for the anointing, there's a price. To much is what? Ask, much is
That's right.
required, right?
That's
And there's
right.
a requirement to receive what you want a man to give you. There's a checklist, right? Well, anybody to come around me right now, there's this. It's a long, load. It's real long. It's long because I'm too old. I'm too old to play games, right? So we can't do playing games and toxic stuff. But I want to give you guys the last word, and then Sir Hell, I want you to give the last word after we give the ladies the floor. Please end this broadcast with sharing your heart with whoever is going to, men and women, see this.
Yes, well, I want to share my heart, and I need to say that I was so blessed to find that love throughout my life and have that type of love. And there's no other, and I don't want. I'm at the point in my life where, and at the age of my life where, like you said, I can't ever count true love out again, but I'm blessed to have had true love in
Mhm.
every extent that you mentioned, every extent. And I pray and I hope that you all will find that, because it's nothing like it.
That's
Nothing
awesome.
like it.
That's sweet. That's so
Amen.
sweet. That's sweet. Elaine?
Well, I have not been blessed to be married, but I think that it has taken me all of this time in my mid 50s to finally get to the place where I believe that I have found that person, that we care for one another, we support one another, we have things in common. Didn't start out that way, but it started out as a really nice friendship. And the friendship has developed. And I think that's the basis for any really
Mhm.
good relationship, because when your kids are grown and they're out of the house, one of you can't drive, only one can drive, or, I mean, I've had incidents where I've had to go to the emergency room and he's been right there. So I think that the friendship, if you have a good friendship and you feel comfortable, as we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier, if you're comfortable with that person, I think that's the basis of any really good relationship, and probably the foundation of true love at this point in my life, because I can't say that one of us won't be here tomorrow at this age. So I'm trying to enjoy all of that good stuff right now.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Awesome. Let's give mommy the floor.
Well, um, I was married twice, um, divorced twice, but I found love in both relationships, ironically, and Elaine was saying there was no butterflies, but I want the butterflies. I'm still waiting for, I love the butterflies, you know, but it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I learned a lot from both. And as you were saying, at the end, the first marriage, at the end of it, I came out with such respect for a man that loved me. Even though I loved him, I was not in love with him, but I came out of that with the greatest respect for the next guy that would come in my life. He has to live up to him, So I found love. Love is a beautiful thing. We just have to be careful who we give it to, because once you invest yourself in that person, even in a bad marriage, when the divorce is over and you think, oh, I'll be glad when this is over, there's pain. There's pain in that. So we have to be careful who we invest ourselves in, because, there is pain in that, and this was such a beautiful session. And I just want to say to our guests that I know Donna's gonna laugh or whatever, but I'm just kidding. But I'm serious. That he's such a beautiful person. I just wonder, do you have an uncle?
That's funny.
Okay, I'm muting my mic now. She told me.
Tomorrow she's gonna say I didn't say any of that.
I'm gonna reach out to my uncles. I think I feel love.
Mommy, too much. Dawn, that's where you get your sense of humor from. I don't know why you bothering her.
Listen,
Oh,
people
God.
think I often say this is why I am thus, but nobody believes me. But y'all have proof tonight.
Last words, co-host.
I just want to say, I would say, I am a believer of this. I've become a believer of this, that when you give a man what he needs, he will give you what you want. And when you give a woman what she needs, he will give you what you want. It's always reciprocal, and it should be in love. So it's important that we learn what love is, so that we know what to give, so that we know how to receive it, so that we don't take it for granted. And just let love take you to its depths, knowing that whatever the separation that may come at the end of it isn't always bad. Sometimes that separation is necessary for the next level of love. And I leave it there.
Very good. Very good. I want to thank you guys for being here. Sandra says we need to talk, Pastor Griffin. We need to talk. Sandra Birthright. I want to give the floor to Sir Hell before we close the show. For those of you who are out there and that will see this, know that love comes from this platform. And remember that when nothing changes, and you must keep it moving. Come out of a broken place, come out of a sick place, guard your heart and protect your mind, your mental. And, just learn and understand you. When you don't know you and you don't understand how you're wired, do not expect someone else to handle you or have the capacity to handle you. It just won't work. But we love you and we pray that you will continue to move forward. Sir Hill, please give us the last words before I close the show.
Well, I just want to say bravo to Bravo with Sheila for an amazing show and panel. co-host Don B. Amazing perspective. Very nice to meet you, Mr. Lane, Ms. Jeanette, and to Pastor Rose Griffin. Very nice to meet you. This has been an amazing show, and it's been inspiring, because a lot of times we talk so much about the problems that exist in relationships, and we don't talk about love and effort. And tonight, I think this was what I feel good tonight. You know what I mean? Normally, I'm in critical thought, but this restored, because a lot of times we talk about in the Black community, we don't talk about this. And tonight, it was all of that. And to hear the experiences, I think is beautiful. So I'm going to say this thing. Let's make love great again. Let's make marriage great again. And let's not do this based off of the pictures we post or the homes we buy. Let's make it great again by how we treat each other, by how willing we are to walk through this journey of life together. And for her to let him know that, baby, I got your back. Listen to me. Even when I'm mad at you, I got your back. Let's let our men know that it's okay and I see you. And that even when you feel uncomfortable being seen, being vulnerable, I still got you. I'm a praying wife. And the same thing with men. Let's let our women know that I'm going to love you. When you get a few wrinkles, you know what I mean? When you can't drop it like it's hot because you know if you can get it back up again, I'm gonna still love you. Let's make love great again. Let's make marriage great again, because there is nothing more beautiful than to be able to go through this life knowing you got somebody. Because who wants to be lonely? So let's make love great again. That's all.
I love it. I love it. Stay right there before I play this. I'll be right back. Don't move. There you have it. Now I'm going to do it. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube, we'll see you again on Thursday for another show with me and my co-host, Dawn B. Let's do a soft closing.